Hello, welcome to Dark Days Radio on Gehenna Gaming, Twitch, Plays Wrath and Glory. I'm one of the hosts of Dark Days Radio, Chris. I am joined, as always, by Mike.
Hey.
And I am also joined by David.
I'm back.
He's back. We're joined, as always, by Crystal. And we're joined again by Elaine.
Hello.
And this time we are joined by a brand new guest player. We are joined by another fellow Wrath and Glory writer. We are joined by Eleanor. Hello.
Hi.
Right, with introductions done. Right, let me just get a bit more comfortable. First of all, I think we're heard okay on the Twitch. I think everything's fine on that end.
Yep, I see everything.
I'm just making sure that there's sound coming through there before we continue. Right, so obviously, as a reminder, we're Dark Days Radio, but we're with Gehenna Gaming, running Wrath and Glory, a Warhammer 40,000 RPG by Cubicle 7, and we're starting a brand new story as part of our campaign. We are rejoined by David, who is playing his Skitari, who is called ID Fortran. We're again rejoined by Eleanor, who's playing. By Elaine, who's playing her Psyker, a sanctioned Psyker called Lady Annette. I forget the last name right now because it's been a couple of weeks. It's Lady Annette.
Lady Annette Augustine.
Augustine, that's the one. And this time round, we are joined by Eleanor, who is playing something slightly different we've not seen before. Eleanor, what are you going to be playing in this story?
I'm going to be playing an Eldari Corsair called Cadereth.
Cadereth. Excellent.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, with that out the way, I'm going to bring up my notes. I don't need to have Twitch running up there because if there's any questions on the Twitch, I'm sure Crystal will answer anything there. And any questions, directed to me, she'll relay to me. Right, we are playing a slightly modified, expanded version of the free RPG Day scenario from Cubicle 7 for Wrath and Glory called Reign of Mercy. So, with all things ready on my end, are there any final questions from anyone else before we start the game? Nope.
What happened last week?
What happened last time? Oh, well, of course. Last time, the group, having decided that they didn't wish to hand over the Revelator to Mendax, the rogue inquisitor they found out in the end, they sought safe passage on a pilgrim ship from the world of Daedalus, this grave world, this cemetery world. And unfortunately, things went south quite quickly after from that. I mean, before then they had some run-ins with her goons on the world. There was they had a run-in with some electroflagellants, the weird servitors, and then on the pilgrim ship that was boarded by Mendax and her crack squad of mercenaries who took to gunning down pretty much a lot of pilgrims. Which then ended up with Rufio bleeding on the Revelator, causing a warp rift to occur, and Zinchian pink horrors started spilling out. Mendax used an escape pod, and you have no idea where she is currently, and the rest of the team quick-legged it onto her gun cutter and fled just as the warp rift swallowed up whole the pilgrim ship. So that's where we left it. Of course, Lady Annette wasn't actually with them at the time. She'd been, she had a slightly different mission as well because Lord Veronius, while had tasked her, this is the way we're writing her out for that bit, tasked her to go to a tomb of one of his ancestors and to assure it was in safe and secure and to recover something from the tomb. So you had a nice little key, and that's basically a nice way of narratively dealing with that. So that's what happened last time. Sorry?
Narratively dealing with me having the flu.
Yes. So, Reign of Mercy, we begin, as always, on Veronius's flagship, the Ducal Circlet, and on board, you are awaiting. Let me just find my notes. Yes, all of you, bar Eleanor, your character, have been ordered to meet Veronius in his one of his courtrooms, and he is awaiting there. And of course, around him are various opulent paintings, sculptures, some creatures kept in stasis fields, and he is sat at a rather large lacquered oak table, and around him there are servitors laying down platters of food. And of course, from the large Gothic archways, you can see out onto the field of space. And you're further in system. You're not in orbit around Charybdis, you're not near Gilead Prime. You're in fact around the shrine world of Enoch, which is kind of an ocean world, but not to the extent of Charybdian. So everyone is sat there currently, except for Eleanor's character. We'll get to that in a moment. And Lord Veronius, in his resplendent blue jacket, of course, it has many of his badges of office and medals, and his olive complexion. He has a nice goatee, and he's just happily enjoying the food, as the rest of you are sat there, hopefully also enjoying the food or whatever sustenance you have. Lady Annette, we'll start with you. You must be on best behaviour here. I mean, you know how to dine properly with such lords and ladies and venerable people.
Of course, you see, it's all about taking small bites where you can. Always make sure you leave some food on your plate. Never finish off your plate. That's very, very rude. Shows that one's a glutton, and one can't be known to be a glutton in the good circles of the nobility, of course.
Excellent. And Danica, Commissar Danica, is, of course, I'm sure, dining and maybe is a bit of a glutton, because I mean, you've been brought up in the Astra Militarum, you've been brought up in the Scholar, you had a hard life. So, do you enjoy the times you get to have such luxurious meals on board the ship?
She does, but she does it in a way where she enjoys the food, but without making a scene of herself.
Excellent. And Rufio, I mean, you're mostly the complete opposite with this. You're this beastman who I'm sure is stuffing his face with all the types of foods.
No. Rufio's made that mistake before and made a scene, and now just sits there in his chair, just gripping the arms, just waiting for this to all be over, while the Tesseract is in his pocket.
The Tesseract? You mean the Revelator?
Oh, the Revelator, right.
Yeah. This isn't Marvel. We don't have a Tesseract.
Sorry.
It's all right. You're not smoking a low stick? You know, a nice meaty cigar? Nothing like that?
Nope. Just need to get through this.
Okay, and ID Fortran. You're mostly not eating much other than you've probably had your rations of some rendered down protein goop that you plug into yourself.
Yeah, I've got a little carry case with me, which has got a little Hoover nozzle attachment. Plugged it into myself, filled up. I've had a couple of weeks off, letting this lot go off exploring, so I'm quite refreshed and got a new oiling. I've had an oil bath.
You've had an oil and a shine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spit polish.
Okay,
and I'm
excellent.
Staring at Rufio.
As always, right.
Yes, we're going to have the most awkward small talk at the table.
Veronius awaits for the plates and dishes to be taken away, and Amasek is poured from a decanter. And with a deep sigh, he begins to explain why you're here. Ladies, gentlemen, Commissar, I have yet another mission for you. One which I wish I did not have to lay at your feet. But given that the situation in this system, it is one which I think we should deal with sooner rather than later. I fear that if we do not do this, there potentially is a chance of heresy once more within the system, or at least the threat of heresy, with an uprising, and especially on this shrine world of Enoch. And given the tension between the ecclesiarchy, the nobility of hive worlds such as Caribbean, and of course the Forge world, I'd rather like to try and keep things as in balance as possible, because if we do not hold this system and bring it to heel, how am I then meant to take our fleet further and continue this crusade? After all, I have my orders from the Primarch of the Ultramarines himself to lead this crusade as deep into the Imperium Noctis as far as I can. Now, this mission, if you've looked out of the window, you will notice we're in orbit of Enoch. There is rumours of a saint, someone practicing, should I say, acts of great holy virtue. Of course, there is the danger that these are not virtuous. These are not the acts of some saint empowered by the God Emperor of mankind. There's the possibility, the danger, that this person is a charlatan, or worse, some witch, or someone capable of such heinous warpcraft. You are to go down there, and you will be my judges. You will be my eyes and ears, and you will, on my behalf, judge whether this saint is truly one or not. However, you will not be going alone. You will notice Weir is not present. He has some other activity to perform on Enoch. You know, he is a member of his own order, and I believe he is talking to others amongst his own kind. He's on a mission also with Sister Mariana. It is important that they go as representatives of my fleet to Enoch. You get the smaller matter, the one which is perhaps less troublesome, one which doesn't require such knowledge of churchly matters. So for this mission, you will be joined by someone with a different opinion and a different view of Psyker's heresy warpcraft. And I think this perspective will give you a unique insight into the dangers you'll face. He snaps his fingers, and of course, this strange figure emerges from the shadows. Proceed, Eleanor. Please explain. Who are you?
So she's very tall. She's over 6 foot. And she has this very eerily inhuman kind of stature. So very long-limbed, very... the way that she moves is strangely graceful in a way that is slightly uncomfortable. She has very large eyes, and one of them is icy blue and one of them is amber, and like blue-black hair that's kind of in a side passing with plaits down one side of it. And she's wearing strange armor that doesn't have any of the usual lines you're used to. It's flowing and beautiful, but very alien. She has a pistol strapped to her side. You can only really tell it's a pistol because it appears to be in a holster, and a sword in a sheath as well. But everything about her feels very Xenos, to be honest.
And I guess your armor has in certain key locations gemstones.
Yes, actually, yes, that's a very good point. Yes, there will be these strangely glowing gemstones at various different points across it.
Yes.
They seem to like react very slightly to in some shifting way that you don't understand.
Yes. So, in fairness, because it'll be interesting to see what everyone's reaction would be. I think the right dice roll would be, I think it'll be a knowledge-based dice roll to see whether people are knowledgeable enough about Xenos things. So what it'll be, what's the right one? I haven't got a character sheet in front of me to look at. Law?
Maybe?
Yeah, go on. Do law. Everyone but Eleanor needs to roll law just to see, so we can gauge everyone's reactions on this.
You mean scholar?
Scholar, there we go. Yeah. And Crystal's on mute currently. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, he said what I said.
Well, I'm just gonna roll my one wrath die right here. Oh, I got an icon.
Ooh,
Four
got an
successes, nothing
exalted.
special.
I got one icon and one exalted.
Oh, okay. So Rufio thinks it could be an alien, but also could be a mutant. You've seen stranger things in the Underhive. And you're not one to be prejudiced like that, given that, well, look at you. Anyone else that's got more than 2 successes, it recognises, to a lesser or greater degree, the very signs of a member of the Eldari race.
I'll mutter into my drink, ooh, this should be interesting.
Danica would look to see if it's the same Eldari that she had contact with before.
Oh, you mean, way back when, in the very first story. You have no idea.
Okay.
ID4 try and make some weird, bleepy, old kind of modem noises that kind of sound as slightly snarky. But it's done in machine speak, so nobody understands it.
I'm sure all that technology the Eldari is wearing is pure heresy to you.
Oh, yeah.
Pure
It's all
heresy.
shiny and probably not red. And not enough cogs on it.
So, Veronius continues. Take a seat. This is Kedareth. That is the correct way to pronounce it, isn't it?
Haderus,
Kedareth.
if it please you.
The Eldari tongue is a delicate language to learn and pronounce. Many words have many meanings by simply changing the tone and pacing even of how you utter it, it seems. Yes, she is one of the Eldari. She is a Corsair and has links to this system from before the rift opened. Is that correct?
That is correct.
She will be accompanying you, will be with you on this mission. And for all intents and purposes is a member of my crew and is then a member of your party. You should treat her as such. Treating her as an outsider, I will see as sedition and a remark on how I choose to run my ship and how I select my crew. Is that clear? And he looks at Danica straight in the eyes, knowing that she is a political officer.
As you wish, Lord.
Remember, my orders and my control comes from the very High Lords of Terror. Good. Your Corvus Blackstar has been prepared, ready. And when you are ready to proceed, you may depart. Your point of contact is an enforcer in the village of Morncleft. The enforcer's last name is Candlin. They will inform you about more of this heresy or this saint or whatever else is going on there. Obviously, keep your eyes and ears peeled, for Enoch is not the world it once was. There are many pilgrims there who've been trapped since the opening of the Great Rift. These will be people who, at the time, would have been rich, comparable even to many of the lower scions of my own house. However, given they have been trapped on this world for many years, They have now been part of this shanty population that has grown up around many of the cities, palaces, and cathedrals on this world. So you may potentially find other people on this world who have great interest to my own plans. They will be desperate and willing to do anything to get off Enoch. Of course, keep your eyes open for any true signs of heresy, and do what you can to keep the ecclesiarchy on your side, though I am aware that tensions are brewing between them and the other worlds. Do you have any other questions before we proceed?
The plight of the impoverished nobility, it rings a bell with me. I understand. Out of character, what's the plan with the Revelator? Are we just leaving it in Rufio's pocket?
You should announce that, 'cause, I mean, it's mostly been... You've mostly been back on this ship for about less than a day, because, you know, you travelled by... Not even by warp, you would have gone at, like, you know, sublight speed and in system. Obviously, you now possess Mendax's gun cutter, which has been taken apart for anything they can find, will be refitted in future, so you actually have a full... Compared to even a Corvus Blackstar, it is capable of sublight travel between planets, so it's a fairly big ship. It's still a heap of junk. It is like the Millennium Falcon on skulls and crack, so, you know, you get the idea.
So Danica would have, as soon as we arrived, arranged to have talked with Lord Veronius about what has happened.
Okay, cool. So you can mostly announce that you wish to have the Revelator revealed, I guess, because this is the most appropriate time.
Yes. So
Okay.
Reveal the Revelator.
I'm going to say that I don't know any of the... I obviously wasn't there for the stories. I've not caught up on it. By default, I know nothing on this.
Okay, cool. Yep. And Kadereth will know nothing either, and that'll make for an excellent reaction when it gets put on the table. Okay, Rufio, you're carrying it still then, I guess.
Rufio is. What has Danica said about this revelation? Let's roleplay this a little bit.
All right. So Lord Veronius, we have come directly to your ship to make a report of our findings of our last mission.
Ah, Mendax, yes. Yes, we've been over her gun cutter. Nothing has been discovered, nor in the cogitators. It seems that the moment she jettisoned from the vehicle, she triggered some algorithm which cleared the cogitators. So we're unable to recover any data from those databanks. Unfortunate, because from what you told me when you landed, she is a heretic of well, a considerable danger.
Sounds like someone Rufio should know.
Correct. So we have in our possession currently the Revelator, the object that we were sent to find. This object, which Lady Elaine was able to determine would be used in the future against the Imperium.
I low-key spit out a little bit of drink. I thought you were going to destroy that thing. What'd you do bringing it here?
We have not been able to destroy it. We have not been able to find a way to damage it in any fashion. We have not also been able to figure out a way to hide it to the point of where nobody would be able to find it. This is why we brought it here, because with the betrayal and heresy of Mendez, we didn't know where else to turn outside of you and your ship directly.
I'm going to need another drink. Servitor.
Kind of turn around and look at you, and you brought this with him. You let Rufio with this thing?
Oh,
I
I've
like
kept
it.
it. I've kept it safe
Rufio
through many
has-
trials and tribulations.
Let me see.
Rufio
Let me see
has-
this device. Put it on the table.
Rufio hesitates.
Danica's hand just goes to her gun, just slightly in Rufio's eyesight.
Rufio continues to hesitate.
Put it on the table, Rufio.
I pull out my rifle and put it on the table, pointing at you as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Rufio slowly, in a dramatic fashion, whips away his robe and from an inner pocket pulls out the Revelator.
Underdone.
So this is, as we described last time, it's a Klein bottle. It's an impossible shape. It's perfectly metallic, no signs of joins or any way that it's been welded together. And it's kind of like, as you look at it, but then it's almost as if the strange iconography on it flows and tries to escape your eye line. It's very unsettling to look at. You place it on the table then?
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere else to place it,
No.
so that seems fine. I'll put it onto Rufio's empty plate.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I refuse to look at it again. Just like,
Veronius puts down his drink and then finds from his jacket pocket some obscura, like cigarettes, and lights one up and starts smoking. What the heck am I looking at here? Kirith, have you ever seen such a thing? This is obviously not human in construction. Does this match anything of your own races?
I am assuming OOC that it doesn't look like an Eldari thing. It doesn't
No.
sound like an Eldari
It's
thing.
completely alien to you as well.
Yeah, so all the way through this, while all of the kind of tension was going on, she was just like sitting there watching everyone. But there was like this really subtle shift where she wasn't like reaching for a weapon or anything, but it looked like maybe at any time she could if she wanted to. And that didn't stop when it got pushed on the table. I am not familiar with anything of this design, and that in itself is troubling.
And you said in your report, Danica, that this thing opened a rift in the wall.
Correct.
And how was it activated?
By blood.
Whose blood?
My blood.
The specific riff was Rufio's.
Why is he still alive?
Calm, ID Fortran. Rufio has his uses, and I commend him so far for even recovering this artifact. Now, Mendax
Crack
never
on.
explained what this was able to do, but it clearly manipulates the warp.
Correct. Lady Elaine, do you want to share the vision that you had with this?
the details are best left to the imagination. Let's just say it was not very pleasant, and an untrustworthy entity within the warp instructed me to deliver it to Inquisitor Mendax. And as the Emperor-fearing sanction psyker that I am, decided that was a terrible idea. What I most definitely didn't say you should do is run around bleeding on it.
It was the heat of battle.
I suggest
I do understand your love for the heat of battle.
Given you have another mission to deal with for me, I suggest this item be placed in a stasis lock. I will have one of my navigators examine it fully, and ID Fortran, I will also have one of my tech priests on board examine it further. I want to understand fully what it is capable of, or the danger it presents. If it cannot be easily destroyed by mundane weapons, we may have to figure out some other manner it can be destroyed. If not that, potentially, we may have to liaise with members of the Corsairs in this system. There may be some amongst them that might have deeper knowledge of the alien race that this comes from. He motions for one of his servants to go and bring the appropriate people, who after some time bring like a very big, like what is just a very big solid secure box that is covered in purity seals. It's clearly a machine that that's going to generate some stasis field, so anything put in it will then be, locked out of time and space almost. There are numerous inscriptions, and that are, I think Lady Annette would realise that, to your knowledge, many of the inscriptions and the metal that this box is made out of are some sort of hexagrammic wards. So it's a merger between technology and also kind of warpcraft of psychers who and metallurgists in the of the tech priests to have designed something like that. But with that done,
a room like that once.
You had a room
like that once. Back during training, they used to shove us in just big versions of that. It was great fun. Lovely decor. Fine craftsmanship.
With that done, you are free to leave unless you have any other questions.
I would like to low-key see if I can find out where they're storing that thing on the ship, so I can make sure my quarters are as far away from it as possible.
They're mostly going to be storing it near where the Gellerfield generators are, so that they can generate a field over it as well to make sure it's completely locked away from the warp.
That's convenient because I also don't like Geller fields, so
no,
that's fine.
And it'll be near where all the tech priests and engineers have their base of operations on the ship. I mean, the ship is like at least 5 kilometers long at this point. I think it's mostly bigger than that even. It is a big ship with about, I think I last checked, so I was looking up some Battlefleet Gothic stuff. Like one of the ships in the fleet clearly had, a ship can have somewhere in the region of a population of a crew of about 90,000 people, and that's considered about middle of the range sometimes. Of course, 90% of those crew are either slaves or soldiers, so they're not all doing anything. They're not useful for the operation of the ship other than to move things around. But yes, if there's any other questions,
Lord Veronius, should we come across Mendez, what would you like us to do?
if you come across Mendax in future, I think it is important to not immediately apprehend this heretic, but clearly she has larger plans, and I would be keen to understand what other dangers I am potentially facing.
She tried to murder us. I cannot promise that we will not apprehend or murder her back.
Didn't try to murder me, but
She also tried to get us declared heretics.
Well, as an Inquisitor, she is allowed to do that, of course. But, you fall under my protection, so tough. She has me to contend with. Of course, you should be careful on other worlds that you go to, because she still has her privileges given by her inquisitorial rosette that gives her various levels of clearance, and she could easily gain the influence of local governors or forces and use them against you. But if that is everything, then I suggest you should ready yourself. we will be approaching the drop zone in just shy of 1 hour. Of course, I will provide a pilot for you, unless one of you wishes to pilot the ship.
Please provide a pilot.
I don't have the right gloves.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean? I'm a great pilot.
My pilot skill's not that bad.
What's your pilot skill?
Does our Eldari friend have a ship?
So, Kadrath is not offering to pilot. From an out of character perspective, my pilot skill is not terrible because she's got very good agility, but she's also mostly familiar with Eldar technology, so and she does not have her own ship.
She doesn't want to touch
Why are all the
filthy
buttons
joysticks
skulls? I
on
don't understand.
Imperial craft.
Yeah, what is this? This is a mess. So yeah, she's not volunteering.
Apparently, I have an agility of 4, which gives me a pilot skill of 4. I'm not quite sure how a robot has an agility of 4. I do.
Just programmed reflexes,
Take
surely.
the oil in the joints.
Okay,
I'm more interested by Rufio's injuries at the moment, and
Yeah, I'm actually super wounded, so
Oh,
maybe
all your
step number
wounds-
1 is...
all your wounds and everything will be reset, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Goodness.
damn
Great.
it.
Because I have wounds and shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that's reset. You will have been treated and everything. You've
Yeah.
had more than enough time to rest.
It was a really good meal. I
I
would
would
like
get my
to
handbrakes out and do a bit of snippy snip.
before we wrap up the meal. I would like to ask our little prospective miracle worker, alleged miracle worker. What exactly has she been reported as doing? What are these miracles that we're going to investigate?
Apparently this miracle worker is able to create fresh water. And fresh water, what with the what should have been a temporary population on Enoch becoming more of a permanent one, fresh water is at a premium. So for her to be able to make fresh water out of stagnant or salt water, of which there is plenty on Enoch, is quite a feat.
Does she do this in front of people?
I haven't ascertained anything more other than hearing about the fact that she is able to perform this miracle. Clearly, if others are aware of this, then she has performed this miracle in front of others.
Water purification units are large. This seems unlikely.
Purification units are large. There is near Morncliffe, there is a desalination facility.
I deem we check this out.
If we are going to be potentially hunting ourselves a Psyker, or someone who has some degree of witch power, it might be good if we can maybe get ourselves a hold of a null hood or something. Like
A null hood. So you wish something to clamp around this Psyker's head just in case.
yes, it's like a hexagrammatically warded bag essentially that you can pop over a Psyker's head and it stops them from accessing the warp. It's pretty good for bagging and tagging rogue Psykers.
I will see what we have in... I'm sure we have one on board, given the navigators obviously have to deal with people, and we have the danger of emergent Psykers in this system, what with our proximity to the Great Rift. I will ensure you are given one before you leave. Are there any other questions? If not, I suggest you should depart and prepare yourselves for landing, for planetfall.
All right.
Kadareth gets up like immediately as soon as it's like, yep, we've done all of the information, and just leaves.
Excellent. Yes, so you have a Corvus Blackstar in one of the docking bays ready to land. You have a pilot assigned to you from one of the voidsmen from his fleet, who again is in a garish uniform and seems very happy to be performing this duty. Always a good excuse to take out the Corvus Black Star rather than performing other ship duties or dealing with just cargo. And is there anything you will be doing before boarding the lander? Any other actions you want to do?
I'm going to find an Auspex that works.
Okay, well, you've got brand new Auspex, so you've tweaked one, so that's not a difficult question.
Which Auspex is this? Auspex number 3 or number 4 at this point?
10, maybe. I was looking through this and going, oh, look, there's an augmetic which allows me to have a personal Auspex put inside me. But the amount they break, that sounds like a really bad idea. So I've got a whole stack of them. I'm walking with them all in my arms. One of them will work.
So I'm assuming all of our previous gear was left in Severina's care.
Yeah, that would have been brought back. That would have been, you would have picked that up because you would have landed. You would have gone back to to her ship before heading off to come to Veronius's flagship.
Did we? I don't think we did that.
No,
we did not do that at all. We went straight here and did not talk to Severina. We did not rat her out to Lord Veronius. So we're kind of a gray area at the moment.
You can requisition any equivalent gear quite happily. I mean,
yeah.
Veronius's
I just have
armory
carapace
is
armor.
stocked.
Okay, yeah, because Danica wants her coat back, and she's gonna lament the loss of the cane.
Yeah, you can get that at a
the
later
cane!
Oh no.
It's irreplaceable.
I know the story of the cane. I remember that.
I'm sure if you really, really want one, and given that you Veronius obviously needs you to keep troops in check, I'm sure he will have found some antique cane somewhere in some vault that he's got somewhere. And it's just like, I don't remember who. Yeah, you'd be like, I don't remember whose that was. Here, have it. And it's mostly got, say, let's just say it's got like the head of it is like a silver. Well, let's pick an animal. Yeah, it's a silver like lion's head.
Okay.
That's really nice. I do enjoy the possible side quest of getting this old cane back. But we'll see what happens.
So I will take the replacement cane, just because it's nice to have in my hands, but I will be on the lookout for my cane. But otherwise, yes, I would get my coat and all of my other replacement gear for what I had.
Yeah. Okay, if everyone is happy with having all their gear back and other things they would be doing before preparing to depart, you head to the Corvus Black Star, which is this this drop ship, primarily a ship that's often used by the Inquisition, but of course, Veronius has stuff lying around, and this is one which he keeps for the cadre. Obviously, yes, you'll have all your ammo reloads back. You'll have enough ammo for your weapons. And with everyone boarded on the Black Star and strapped in, the landing ramp, with a hiss, closes up, and the cargo bay is vacated, and a large crane comes down and holds the ship from above, classic alien style, as the cargo bay doors open below, opening to the void of space. And your pilot looks over his shoulder. I'd hold on to your lunch, and thumbs the trigger, and there's a brief feeling of falling before the engines come on, and you blast forward straight down towards the world of Enoch. And it's a bumpy ride. Most of you are used to this. Kadereth, emotionally, this is not the way you like traveling.
Yeah.
This is certainly not what you would consider. This is nothing compared to, landing in, say, a Falcon grav tank or
Yeah.
equivalent, or a Phoenix.
She looks like a combination of like alarmed and offended at the level of this technology.
Yes, yeah. Everything about it offends you. Like, there's warning lights, which the guy's not paying attention to. Things are creaking. There's a bit of hissing. He's conversing, and there's the chitter of the machine spirit that's slaved into this vehicle. And soon enough, it is in orbit and through into the atmosphere again. There is the licking up of flames outside as it hits the heat shield. You're beginning to feel more and more of the gravity of the world, as the aircraft banks from left to right through the clouds, and before long you begin to see the open oceans below you. Now, would someone like to roll for me 6 dice, including a wrath die in there, for the pilot?
I can.
No, because I know what my dice rolling is like.
As the tech priest.
I've not,
That's fair.
I've not rolled dice for a very long time, so I don't want to push my luck.
Ooh. Okay.
Eddie
So
Fortran, what is the safety record of these shuttles exactly?
I got
Error.
an exalted icon on the wrath die. That is it, though.
That is it. Oh, okay, that's not good.
God.
Is this a tech roll?
There is a loud booming sound, and all the lights in the Black Star go off. The chittering of the machine spirit stops, and you realise that the engines the whining of them also begins to stop. The pilot shouts over his shoulder, "We've been hit by lightning! We've lost all power! Hold on to something, brace yourselves!" And it begins to just... You are start heading down, straight down, nose first, towards the ocean. ID Fortran, you could obviously...
Can I plug in?
You could plug in and try and fire up the machine spirit and the engines. You're gonna have to get out of the seat, get out of your seat belt, and haul yourself over to the machine spirit and where the engine block is.
Yeah, cool. I will do this. I have managed to upgrade my tech skill a little bit.
So it's a tech roll.
I've now got 6 dice. Woo!
Yay!
That is 2 normal icons and 1 exalted.
Excellent.
And the wrath dice is just nothing.
You use one of the smaller mechadendrites you have. You plug yourself into the machine spirit. There is a chittering coming from your cogitator banks, and with with a loud kind of rumbling, the engines come on, all the lights lumen come back on. The Vox starts chittering away as you get communication with Enoch's security forces that they're needing clearance codes for you to land. And with that, the pilot starts, giving clearance codes to the control tower, and the aircraft levels out, and you're able to haul you back up over to the seat.
Yeah,
Power's back on. We've got about 20 minutes before we land.
Haderath stops saying something under her breath in Eldari.
Yeah.
So, about those safety records.
You are flying over. You're able to get out of your seats. You can go over to the main lookout through the front window, and you can of the cockpit, and you can see the ocean, and on the horizon are you'll begin to see emerging from the horizon are some cliffs, and the ocean is stormy and is rough. The weather isn't great, as you know. And Morncleft, you can see there is as you get closer and closer, there is a village on this V-shaped around this V-shaped crevasse, and as you get closer, you can see there are ships on these winches. Like, so we're talking large, vessels that are winched out of the sea by these up, within the crevasse, within this V shape. To the north, though, beyond, as you're getting close to the village, you can also see a mountain, and on the mountain has one of the faces of the mountain has been carved, and is this face of a man looking out over the ocean. So again, if you want, you can make a scholar roll to see if you, or a knowledge roll of some form to see if you recognize it.
Four successes.
That's enough. Annette, you recognize it as Tigrana Dahlia, who is the chapter master of the local Space Marine chapter in the Gilead system, called the Absolvers. So the Black Star, slows down, and the vertical takeoff and landing engines fire up, and you, with a it's shaky enough, you land on what is kind of a landing pad in this village, which numbers, from what you can see, no more than, say, 50 buildings. And beyond that, beyond the village, or at the edge of the village, sorry, there are fortified walls. And what you were able to see as you were landing, it's stretching off into the distance, is a shanty town, just as you've heard about any settlement in Enoch. The lights in the Black Star change, and the pilot thumbs another button, and the cargo doors open up, and you're able to get out of the vehicle. And of course, it's lashing with rain outside. The weather is absolutely awful.
Yeah, the rogue trader brings us to the nicest places.
Looks like you're home.
As someone who's always
no.
prepared for the weather, I will open a parasol.
Caterus' clothing obviously is a interlocking kind of plasty steel. It looks like insectoid almost, because it's Eldari Corsair armor. But over that, you're wearing a cloak which disguises most of it.
Yeah, I'll say it's like a big coat or something,
Yeah.
So that, because she likes to still have, her arms pretty,
Free.
in sleeves rather
Yeah.
than in, a cloak.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have, a big hood that she can pull up. if
Yeah,
she
you've
needs
got a
to.
hood. You're not
She
wearing...
got her pointy ears.
Yeah. You've mostly got also a mask you could possibly bring up around your
Yeah,
mouth.
that
Just so
makes
the only
sense.
thing that can be seen is your eyes, and so it's
Yeah.
even less obvious that you're not
Yeah.
human.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Stood, shielding themselves from the rain, dressed in a combination of carapace armor that you recognise as kind of standard issue for an enforcer, and also garb which looks more like religious, like a religious habit, is Rashida Candlin, who is, in her 40s or so, and you can see at her throat she has an augmetic rebreather, suggesting that she had breathing issues at some point in her life, and that was put in so that she could breathe some noxious atmosphere or polluted atmosphere. She looks tired, looks worn out, but slightly bemused by your arrival. And at her hip is dangling a shock maul, and resting at her hip, she's carrying a shotgun. She is the only enforcer there. No one else is waiting for you to, no one else is awaiting your arrival.
We're to try and do specs to see if there is any other life form around. We're going to start off well with this.
Obviously, recognizing a commissar in your midst. She also then immediately salutes at Darnica. Commissar, I am Enforcer Candlin. I was told to expect your arrival from the Veronius fleet.
Enforcer, it's nice to see you.
Nice, I presume, yes. Though things have got difficult over these recent years. You are here regarding the Saint.
Alleged saint.
Yes.
Alleged.
These are the rest of your party, and begins to look at those gathered, and she tries not to stare in the direction of either Rufio or Cadereth, as in Cadereth is like trying to understand what is this tall person? Is it an abhuman? And in Rufio's case, that's definitely an abhuman, but not too sure what flavour of mutant she's looking at.
Correct. This is my crew.
You travel with
See,
strange people, though I am not one to judge the Lord Veronius.
Strange but effective.
I have a cabin ready for you to rest, and to there is some food, but very little. Pointing, you can see that many people are working around near the V shape of this crevasse, because from the ships they're bringing on a lot of produce, a lot of fish, crabs, other sea greens, and they are butchering them. And amongst the throng of people of the villagers working there are also priests, and you can also make out that there is a imperial shrine. There is a church nearby, which also looks like it's seen better days. It's clearly had to weather so many storms, so much rain, and as I said, there's about 50 or so buildings. I would say population of the village, you could potentially guess, is in the order of somewhere between 200 to 300 people, maybe a bit more. We should find somewhere dry, and we can speak more freely. It is hard to hear ourselves. Your pilot is free, of course, to use the cabin as well.
All right, sounds good.
So you trudge through the rain, through the mud, to your cabin, which is pretty much a decaying polycrete, prefabricated imperial building of STC standard, and the creaking, rusting door is opened, and once you're sat inside, very, again, old lumens illuminate it, and there is already a fire burning, so they do try and use, natural fuels to heat the place. There are a number of cots for you to rest upon, and some stools, and there is a pot of something bubbling which looks and smells a lot like fish, but it's most probably not the best fish in the world. But it is there if you need something to eat. Please take a seat. There's food there ready for you. There are bowls. It is all I can provide. So much food goes to the church, who take their first takings, and what remains after the villagers have had theirs is used to feed the pilgrims outside the village walls. So this saint, all I am aware of is that they lead, or they're an influential member of a cult that has been growing around them, known as the Waterbringers. They are able to bring forth fresh water, and they give it to the needy and the poor and the desperate outside. Which, given, as you've seen, most of this planet is an ocean world, potable water is limited. And things are difficult. I am the only enforcer here for both this village and the people outside. The last survey must have been 100 years ago. And that was when we only had the village. By my reckoning, there should be 50 more of me here. 50 more enforcers. So I am begging you, if Lord Veronius has even a small amount of people that he can send to this village to help me in my duties, I would be most grateful.
I cannot make any promises, but I will see what I can do.
Is anyone eating? Is Rufio eating? Rufio has a tough stomach.
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry because I did not eat at Lord Veronius's dinner before. So yeah, I'm just gonna eat whatever I can find.
It's boiled up fish guts. It's fish heads, fish guts.
Listen, this was a delicacy in the Underhive. You know, you go to the fish processing, the cannery, basically, and then whatever refuse they sent out the back, you'd grab and just boil up.
Does Necromunda have fish?
Well, it had a lot of things. Well, okay, it was.
Depends what you got out of the sump.
Sludge. It was a sludge octopus kind of thing.
Excellent. Obviously, ID Fortran doesn't need to eat any of that.
No, I'm just kind of looking at Rufio as he's gulping it down, just kind of shaking, and just kind of looking. The sounds of disgust kind of coming from me. I can't look disgusted because I've got a mechanical face, but you get disgusted at him.
Beeps disgustingly.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to think what our Eldari friend here thinks of watching this mutant gobble down a bowl of fish guts.
It's hard to tell because of the mask, and there's always this slight vibe of disapproval all the time from her, but that's definitely more right now, all of that disapproval and just what even are humans directed at Rufio, especially since he's a mutant.
So, if there's anything else to ask or that you want to do, or ask of the enforcer?
How many water bringers are estimated? Or do you have an exact number at all?
It's difficult to say. I would say there is, at my last count, maybe 24, possibly more. The vast majority are... You'll spot them. They wear a blue-green garb, and of course carry containers of water. Some have it strapped to their backs, and they decant it to those in need.
How is the desalination working?
The desalination plant, that would be the place that normally produces all the water that we would require. It is still producing water, though that is operated by another group. Of course, given how things are, it is understandable that there is perhaps a criminal element at work here. So those that control the desalination plant currently, or at least have been gifted it to operate it, are known as the Deluge. You'll recognise them. They seem to wear a more red and silver garb. I think I remember is the way. They're much larger as well, well built, but that is because they are true hoodlums and gangsters, it seems, or at least that is who they employ.
By criminals? Does not compute.
Given the desalination plant operates for the people outside of the village. Within the village, we have our own desalination facility, which is enough for the people here. But for the shanty town, they have to rely on these people. And there is only me to keep the peace. I am in no. While I do wish to uphold the laws of the High Lords of Terror, I am no fool. I think it would be ill-advised for me to face them when my first and foremost duty is the protection and keeping of the law within the village.
How long ago did this cult first appear? Or did the saint come first and then the cult?
I think the saint appeared first, and that would have been some time after the opening of the Great Rift.
So this saint, do they perform this purification in public? How does one know that their claims to be clearing this water are legitimate?
There have been some witnesses, but it is all performed within a shrine that they keep. It's an old shrine, built as part of or within an imperial facility that seems to predate the village itself. Much of this world has obviously changed over the many centuries, and this shrine, I believe, is somewhere at the base of the rise that leads to the cliff.
Okay. Do you happen to have any of this purified water at hand?
No, of course not.
When do they turn up? Is it a regular?
It is a yes. It is a. It is. They do operate on a regular basis. So she pulls out a small, chronometer. Yes. In the next 15 minutes, a klaxon will sound, and that is when the priests here take what little remains of the harvest of fish, and we drop those buckets down to the needy, the poor outside of the village. It's at that time when the water bringers also come out and provide water to people. So our best bet for you to spy them is then. We can head up to the main wall now if you wish. I can show you some. You'll be able to see more of the village. You'll be able to see more of the shanty town, and you may even better. You'll be able to better see the wonderful view of the mountain itself. You are aware the mountain is the face of Tigranas. He is the chapter master of the Absolvers. They say he keeps his eye out to protect us all on this world. Apparently it's the 5th largest statue of him on all of the world of Enoch. So I say a little prayer to him every time I walk the walls.
It's very, very dignified jaw. You can definitely. I think I saw some gulls in those eyes, maybe. That were.
I only say prayers to the Emperor.
So,
Commissar, tactical assessment. I recommend that we capture some of these cultists bringing down the water for interrogation. We can find out if they have any weapons, how many divisions they have in strength, and get other necessary information.
Yes, investigating this water itself. I'm sure Mighty Fortran might be able to do some sort of chemical analysis.
Certainly possible.
I actually have a different idea, Rufio. Let's see here. Enforcer Camlin, do you happen to have any garments that are worn by the regular people that the water bringers service?
No, I don't have any garments matching their description. I can perhaps find garments that would allow you to move amongst the shantytown, though.
I think that gathering as much information as possible without bringing to light the fact that we are here investigating may give us more information before people start to question or rise up against us.
Yes. I will ask around and have, gather for you what will amount to no more than just simple rags for you to wear. There is a way out into the shantytown that I often use. There is a secret tunnel that I utilize. Though, of course, it is best to go at night so that it is not spotted. Though we should head to the wall very soon. The klaxon will sound, and the priest will bring out the donum sapora to the people, their measure of protein, and you should be able to spot some members of the Waterbringers and the Deluge amongst the population.
Okay. Do we have garb for at least one of us to be able to go undercover within the next 15 minutes?
I mean, Rufio's just a giant robe, so either he could go down, or I mean, someone could wear his robe if you don't mind cleaning it later, because he'd be dragging a couple feet of fabric on the ground.
Rufio is the most likely person to fit with these people, being the thing that he is. Logic dictates we send the mutant.
Yeah, I think Rufio, are you able to just gather information and not reveal what we are actually doing?
Be careful with the word reveal. I think he's still sensitive about the REVELAT.
It does seem that perhaps immediately taking one of them captive and extracting information, well, that's going to provoke some sort of response at the very least.
And if we only have one enforcer on this planet or in this area, we definitely don't want to have the masses coming in this direction.
It would make things inconvenient, certainly.
Logic dictates we tag and follow. If we can get Rufio close to one, maybe he can drop. And all specs, I have many. It might work on one. See where that then goes. Follow it.
That is not a bad idea. I like that plan.
Yeah, so
I might be able to do that.
handle this?
Let me check my character sheet.
if not, I technically should be able to visually follow them now, on my character sheet. So I have shiny new eyeballs. So I'm better at shooting, but I also have telescopic eyeballs, which allow me to ignore penalties related to visual distance. So if I can find them in the crowd, I should be able to hopefully follow them.
Yeah, if you spot them in the crowd, you'll be able to like tag. Yeah, you'll be able to like store it in your brain and therefore identify them later.
Also, maybe direct Rufio through comlinks to follow.
Yeah, with regard to like reverse pickpocketing, slipping something into someone's pocket, such as an auspex. What skill would that be? Would it be under stealth, because that's agility, or?
Ooh, it could be. I think it could be cunning. Would it not?
That's a fellowship skill.
Oh, is that a fellowship skill? Then
Yeah.
It'll be stealth then.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay at that. I've had to do similar things. I've had to plant incriminating evidence on a few people back at the Underhive. Back in my heyday.
So Rufio,
I'm about to get talked to.
You're talking to a commissar here.
Sorry, serious role playing. Yes, commissar.
do not give away that we are here. Do not give away that we are investigating anything on this planet. Just pretend you have come very recently from another village.
I can do that. And I just need to plant this auspex and get some water.
Yes.
Okay. I can handle this.
Right.
This
Do
is
not
pretty simple.
disappoint me.
Well, I'm sure I'll have tactical support from the rest of you, correct? You know,
Yes.
in case
Yes,
in case
well,
in case something
Deafening
happens.
silence.
Yes, Rufio, you will.
All right.
You will have some form of support.
Yep. All right. I'm going down. Gonna. So Rufio is going to head out to kind of blend into the crowds beforehand, so it's not just like some guy walked into town and directly went for the water. You just kind of see what's going on in this shanty village. It reminds him of what he saw in the ash wastes of Necromunda back in the day.
Right, okay. I think before we proceed with that then, shall we have a break? Because we are at
Sure.
at the halfway point. So if you're watching this, we'll be on a break for about 10-15 minutes, and then we'll be right back with more of Wrath and Glory. So, you know, stay in the chat if you want to talk about that. If you have any other questions, you can tweet us and or go on Facebook, obviously, and ask us about Wrath and Glory and other horror RPGs. And until then, we will see you soon. So, goodbye for now. And we're back after our break. So, so what's the plan? What's Rufio doing?
Rufio is currently, he's already left. He's gone into the shanty town and it's just kind of
How are you
trying to blend in, see what's going on
So
here.
how are you going to get into the question is how do you get into the shanty town? Basically, the shanty town is completely separate to the village by the whole like fortified walls, and the only way they hardly let people in because the village is providing, you know, food to the ecclesiarchy. So the only way out of the village is by the secret tunnel, which the enforcer has already said she'll provide access to at night.
Is it night?
Not just yet.
Crap. All right, team, ideas. Can I go over the wall?
Well, I'll speed things along.
Go
While you've been
through- all
thinking
right,
this,
all right.
the klaxon sounds, and you hear a commotion outside as members of the clergy come out from buildings or come out from the shrine, and they are carrying numerous buckets of fish guts, fish heads, viscera, which they will lower down via rope from the walls to give to the pilgrims out in the shanty town. Candlin motions for you to follow her and directs you and points out that there's a place where they can watch what's going on without being spotted, because there is a gunning placement and a shutter window which you can look out from. So yes, there are gunning placements on the walls. There are stub guns, like heavy stubbers, set up to keep the peace.
Okay, I'm gonna go find one of those and observe.
Yeah.
Ditto. I will go with Danica.
So Candlin takes you up to the gun emplacement, so you can observe the hundreds, if not, the many hundreds of people waiting for food to be deposited down in these buckets. And as you get closer, you can hear the moaning and wailing and cries of the pilgrims outside. And it's clear once you start looking out through the shuttered window, many of them are wearing clothes which are patchwork of rags, which, as you observe, they would have been much more vibrant, much more luxurious. These are people that would have been nobility or well-off pilgrims, well-off imperial citizens, who now are laid low and are paupers due to the circumstance of the Great Rift cutting them off from their homes elsewhere in the greater empire of mankind. You also notice that many of them wear, or not wear, but it's actually under their skin. They have things called skin plants, which illuminate, and they are, basically think of them as illuminated tattoos, which create images of saintly figures or verses of imperial literature.
Oh, how the great have fallen.
You can now all make awareness tests to, obviously spot various people in amongst the throng of the pilgrims.
He's standing there, like, under the parasol with, like, some binoculars, like, on the little stick, just like,
I am extremely
You've
bad
got
at
your
math.
opera glasses with you for it.
Yeah, I've got, like, my opera glasses, like, in the parasol, standing there in, like, my own salvaged nobility dress and stuff, and sort of, I say a quiet prayer to the Emperor for these poor souls laid so low from their normal station. Ooh,
Welcome to the world, David
holy
Rowling.
crap. These are good opera glasses.
So I got a 6. That's 2, is it?
Yeah, that's 2. Yeah.
So I get 5 icons, but I get a 1.
Okay. Right.
I've got 3 icons, a 5, and a 6 on the Wrath die. These are the best opera
Okay,
glasses
I'm
ever.
going to just add 1 to my ruin pool. Thank you, David. I can't
welcome.
think of a complication. And everyone that got at least 3 successes, you are able to spot moving amongst the pilgrims, the water bringers. They wear this blue-green kind of habits. And you can see what bare skin they have, where their skin plants are, is like the imagery it creates is that of chalices overflowing with water. Though, of course, other figures are amongst the pilgrims, and you can also spot moving about in wearing red habits with kind of a silver trim are the deluge, and these are much larger, burlier people. Yes, that's so you're able to pick out a few faces. You can see a few individuals which you commit to memory, so that you might follow them later when you head out into the shantytown. And of course, it doesn't take long for all the food, for this small, meagre offering of protein to be exhausted, and the buckets are winched back up the fortified walls, and the clergy descends down back into the village itself. And then a bell chimes from the church, for it is also time for mass and for, as the enforcer explains, for a blessing to be made as the villagers prepare to have their evening meal. And I guess you're going to head just to witness mass? Are you going, and obviously, look like you give a damn about prayers to the God Emperor of mankind? Or you can stand further away and just watch it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Danica's trying not to be seen.
Yeah. So
So-
you watch a rather rotund and almost walrus-like figure, let's just say, who Candlin explains his name is Father Horthule, and he is in charge. He's a minister and priest who obviously is the head of the church here in this village. And the rest of his clergymen who come out to help with mass and to they're definitely not as emaciated even compared to the villagers. They seem very well fed on the fishing that is done by this village. And they bring out from the church, they carry an aquila, a symbol of the god emperor of mankind, made of stone, and they place it upon an altar outside of the church. And as they do so, they also make a ring around it of a black liquid, which they then promptly ignite. See and witness the light of the Emperor. He has blessed us, you of Morncleft. You are the chosen. You are his servants. He gives you his bounty from the oceans to give to this world, to give to his people and his warriors in this grand crusade. You are both his chalices of water and blood. And you will be righteous, and we will bring light to the Imperium. Cast your eyes away from the great rift, for it is a scar upon his imperial might. Look away from it. Do not witness it. Keep your eyes low, and look towards his symbol, the aquila, his great eagle. Its two eyes looking upon you, piercing your soul, looking to ignite the fire within. And this carries on for about a good half hour or more. And it is all fire and brimstone. How do you feel hearing all this?
Bored.
Restraining myself from muttering my own prayers in case somebody notices. My own prayers to my gods, not to the Emperor, obviously.
Rufio's a little into it. Not totally into it, but a little.
This is definitely different than what Donica is used to. However, she's more paying attention to see if there's any heresy being spread.
You can all make awareness rolls.
I'm kind of just tutting at the waste of Promethean that they've just used, and just like that could have been used for good machinery, and why are you wasting such precious liquids?
Kadras will mutter, your people starve while your priests grow fat.
Redemption.
With disgusted voice.
Something along the lines of these fat Monkai.
Yeah, I mean, from an OSD perspective, I don't really want to like fat shame, but it is sort of the elements of this that has happened.
Oh,
so.
they're clearly gluttonous Monkai, as you rightly point
Like,
out. They are gluttonous while their people starve.
Yeah, gluttonous is probably the better term there. Yes, your priests are gluttonous while your people starve. There we go. That's a much better way of putting it. I did not
as a
succeed.
sanctioned psyker who's, I've seen what happens if you don't at all times show your purity and your willingness to worship for the Emperor. It normally ends up with a shock maul to the head for sanctioned psychers. So I'll just do my usual tilt, very like somber, tilting the head beneath the parasol, but actually just sitting there and low key, like smoking a low stick, just sort of entertaining myself as the half hour passes by. Thinking about all of the sights I've seen so far.
Excellent. Who passed their awareness test? How many successes?
3.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. And of course, by the time mass is ended and everyone returns to their hab blocks to rest and to eat, night now begins to fall. The sun's setting on the horizon of the ocean, and it is very dark. except for all the light that comes really from outside in the shantytown, because there are a lot of lamps out there. Mainly lamps, actual things being burnt, because of course they will not have easy access to things like electricity or any energy in that form. So you are free now, as Candlin takes you to the tunnel that she uses, and along that way you will be able to exit the village into the shantytown itself. So you are free to go when you want to, if that's what you want to do.
Well, we could now send Rufio off to.
I would say I think Rufio's going on his own.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be great.
I will actually find my way up to the wall, and at least watch the area that I can.
Considering the unique composition of these sort of cast down pilgrims, might Lady Annette join Rufio? Because it's on appearance it seems like you're going down to mingle with a bunch of peasants, but actually they're a bunch of nobility, so they'll probably have unique and strange ways of talking and like baroque rituals and things like that. So it might be worthwhile if I join along, as much as I do not want to traipse through the mud.
No, I really appreciate it, and or Rufio appreciates it, and also Rufio does still have a signal flare from the last adventure, which could be used in an emergency because we never actually called the Inquisitor's transport. So be on the lookout for that if there's trouble.
I'll be watching you through my rifle.
Okay, and Kaderith is going along.
Yeah, she says that she's been charged with putting her skills to good use in the pursuit of this particular investigation. So she offers to go and basically be nearby, maybe at the end of the tunnel or something, so that if the signal flare goes up, she can get there quickly. Does that sound reasonable? Because she is very tall and very hard to miss.
Excellent. Well, with that, then those of you heading out into the shantytown do so. Those of you staying behind, find somewhere to sit in the dry, on the wall, looking down. And as you enter the shantytown and begin to work your way amongst the people, between the tents, between the makeshift shops and factories. I say factories, but they're just, buildings made of corrugated iron and so forth, where they're producing anything ranging from oils to ink and or reclaiming body parts to turn into trinkets. It's a noisy affair. It's smelly. There's the smoke of what vehicles do have fuel are moving around, carting around large amounts of goods. And as you move amongst the throng of people, fire is their only source of light, save for the glow of their skin plants that they have that are just beneath their skin. Of course, within the shantytown, there are many bars, there are shops, there are traders that are trying to sell relics, which are clearly fakes. It seems like it's the only way that these people are able to make business is hoping that outsiders come to the village and go into the shantytown and try and buy some blessed item, a finger of some dead saint or the tooth of another honourable ministorum priest. So you're free to ask around. You can obviously make the appropriate role, socialising roles to do so. So that would be things like cunning or persuasion, if you feel that is, or simply intimidation if you want to, not be delicate with the matter, instead just be rather blunt. And of course, you can make an awareness roll as well for trying to spot people of the Waterbringers or the Deluge and try and follow them.
Lady Annette, thank you for joining me. I'm better at roughing people up and intimidation. So perhaps you should use a lighter touch in the meantime before we have to resort to that.
I understand, of course. Us mutants must stick together after all.
But don't tell the commissar I said that. I need to keep up my image of being the tough guy.
Yes, your secret is safe with me. Okay, I'm going to look for a merchant, someone who's selling trinkets and things like that. I imagine if these are a bunch of downtrodden nobles, there's going to be a secondary market of things.
Of course.
And I'm going to approach them, and I'm going to offer to sell my opera glasses for some trinket, whatever is there, mostly just to sort of get a transactional banter going on.
Yeah. So I think that'll be persuasion.
Okay.
And I think it's fair to say I think you could mostly add your rank to this as a bonus, because you're basically talking to people of the same background as you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's 3 successes. Nothing spectacular on the wrath die.
So yes, you offer to sell your opera glasses, and the trader, a lady who, you can see the scrap of the scraps of her clothing would betray the fact they were at one time in the past would have been a fine blouse or the wear and tear has obviously removed the delicate embroidery on her coat or on her skirt or something like that. You get the idea. Her clothing would have at one point been nearly as nice as yours, if not better, but now is, threadbare. She is gracious as she looks over your the opera glasses. Oh, these are very fine. You've travelled and looked up. You're not from here, are you? Trying to look past the rags that you're wearing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I've recently come into this area. Unfortunately, the small pilgrim settlement that I came from nearby, it's unfortunately collapsed due to a tragic lack of water.
Oh.
I'm sure you understand the situation here. The
Yes,
reason myself and my companion here came so far was because we heard tales of pure water coming from this place.
Definitely tales of pure water. What would you want in exchange for these lovely glasses? They would fetch a fine penny with those in the village, I believe. What do you wish to sell in return, or what did you wish to buy in return? I have a few things. There is and there's like a brooch, and there's a deck of cards.
Is there any small personal like defense, like a knife, even like an old letter opener, or?
Oh yeah, there's
like
definitely like a knife there. Yeah.
Okay.
The knife has like a handle that's been recently made out of some sort of rather large kind of piece of like shark's tooth. So it's.
Okay. Yes, I'll. If I could exchange it for that, if you don't mind, you can never underestimate how valuable a sharp piece of metal can be.
Yes, that you have to be careful around these parts. I mean, while everyone wishes to be God-fearing and do the Emperor's work, there are those which would take some of us for fools and take advantage of us. Fresh water, you say? You were here earlier. You will have seen there are the water bringers that come amongst us. They bring fresh water.
Yes, I've not had a chance to meet with any of them.
They have a shrine. If you head downhill, you will find an old the entrance to an old Imperial outpost there. It's been there for centuries now, but they keep it as their as their shrine to this saint. They have this saint who is able to make this water. Her name is what is her name again? It's Matrika. That is it. She is able to bring forth water, fresh
Truly
water.
a blessing from the Emperor.
It is
Sounds
truly
like
a
we have
blessing.
traveled to the right place, my friend, and I'll pat
The Emperor has
Rufio.
guided you where you need to be, and your friend, of course. If you are, I would go to them and speak. I'm sure they have at least a glass of water each for you, enough to quench your thirst.
Excellent. Shall we then?
Yes.
Okay, was anyone else, was Kadarth wanting to ask anything else, or observe anything else, or follow anyone?
I suppose if you two are going down the hill, like I could tag along behind at a distance, perhaps, or something like that, to try and be at hand, and also see if anyone is watching you.
Excellent. Okay.
Though I will say my awareness is not good.
No, okay.
She is very poor.
You
Awareness of her world.
you begin to head down the slope towards the mainland. Right, Darnica and ID Fortran, you're sat up in the dry on the wall, looking down. ID Fortran, you've got your scope. You can make an awareness test.
So I was going to ask, are we in contact with Lady Annette and Rufio? And
You'll have a Vox caster.
So will they have told us about this? Because if they have, I will put my scope on and try and scan for the shrine. If not, I'll just scan the area.
They'll have to find a quiet moment to use the Vox so they don't get spotted, I think.
I'll let them decide if they tell me or not.
Yeah.
I'll do an awareness check anyway. And I know everything. 3 exalted and 1 normal. And one of those
Okay.
is on the wrath dice.
And a 1 on the wrath dice.
No, a 6 on the wrath.
Oh, okay,
So-
good. Okay, so you are able to...
Sorry, make that 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah,
8.
you're able to eventually, even with it being dark, your cybernetic eyes are able to quite clearly make out, combined with the scope, where the desalination station is located. And you're able to watch, going in and out from there, members of the Deluge and their ruddy clothing with the silver threading that's around the edging of it. And you would say you've seen about a good dozen or more people move, over the course of the last hour or so, moving out, in and out of there. And they're bringing out what clearly must be buckets of water and so forth, but they're bringing in large crates. And it takes the crates, which require at least 2 people to carry, and they're large enough for anything. It could be weapons, it could be food, it could be equipment, fuel, you don't know. And of course the desalination station is, belching out smoke from the top of it. There are, chimney stacks to it, which are pumping out, waste as it is, purifying the water.
I'm guessing it is only just the Deluge who are going in. I'm not that none of them seem to be dealing with any of the sainty people.
No, but you do see the Deluge as they're bringing goods in, and you're able to watch a few of them. They do quite happily push people into the dirt to get out of the way, or beat them. They are ruffians.
Commissar, something is not right. Logic dictates that crates do not carry water. It looks like some big friends of Rufio's are doing strange things at the desalination plant. Water is coming out, but crates are going in. Logic.
And the plant is not anywhere near a water source at all?
You don't know. It could be pumping water out from below ground. It might be over the top of a well, but desalination suggests that it would be drawing up water from, I guess, some underground access to ocean, seawater, where there's obviously salt water that has to be treated.
Okay.
This is not.
No, this is very curious. I'm wondering what is in those crates.
I could shoot one. We could find out.
Shooting one is going to draw attention. Attention we don't want right now. Should we go down and investigate?
I am willing to follow your lead.
All right.
Logic, you have a better idea of how to do things than I do.
All right, let's go down and investigate. And hopefully communicate with them in a spot where they aren't going to be overheard. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going to set off and head out through the tunnel as well, then?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, then, the others, you follow the route down that you've been directed, and before long, you're outside of a, it looks like the entrance to an old Imperial bunker that's dug into the earth at the base of the slope that would lead all the way up to the cliff. And outside are a few people wearing the clothing of the water shrine, holding torches, and you are, no one seems afraid of them walking around nearby, people from the shantytown, so you would perhaps feel safe approaching, maybe?
Before we approach, could I use my psychic abilities?
Of course, as always.
My sign of science, just to sort of scan the area and see if there are any unnatural movements within the warp.
Okay, so you are wanting to use which psychic power was it again?
Sign of science. It's just like one of the universal ones.
Oh yeah, okay.
You can sense the presence of the warp pressing against the material world. Existent or imminent distortions in the barrier between the materium and the immaterium. You can attempt to detect the presence of the warp or warp phenomena within a range and line of sight, so 50 meters.
Okay.
Including psychic powers or similar.
Cool. So just roll it
Reach
then.
That. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, because it's difficulty 3.
Yeah. 2,
Okay.
4.
You.
Yeah, that's fine.
You open your mind to the very fabric of the immaterium, and looking for the flow of energy that would be called upon by Psykers as they open their tiny little gates into that other realm of demonic energy. But you don't sense anyone else doing the same as you. There seems to be no sense of anyone else calling upon the powers of the warp.
There's no visible taint or anything on the water that they're distributing.
No.
Okay, that was my biggest fear. So I'm glad that that's not the problem. I will say to Rufio that I'm not picking up on any taint of the warp, so that's good at least.
Okay. Do you want me to just grab some water?
Yes, we might be able to get some back to our Adeptus Mechanicus friend and do some sort of chemical analysis. Something, I'm sure. They'll spit out some error. Maybe that Auspex is working.
Definitely be an error somewhere.
Okay, I guess then, Rufio, you're going to approach the Waterbringers?
Yes, Rufio will produce a pewter mug, which he found somewhere.
You'll have it in your gear. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, I probably have like a mess kit or something. So just
Yeah,
a mess
exactly.
kit mug. Please, sir, can I have some more?
The guard standing, or the one that's in charge of the people standing guard of the bunker, is tall, dark blonde hair, again wearing the blue greenish garb of the Waterbringers. He looks down at you. Well, I guess he looks kind of up at you, or you're quite tall.
Yeah, 7 feet tall,
Yeah, looks up at you.
and as strong as a space marine.
Yeah.
Out of power armor.
Out of power armor, Jesus. Oh, you wish for more water? Yes. Bring the bucket there, inside, and they bring out a bucket that has within it, and to your bovine-like nose, it smells like fresh, clean water. It's not piss, that's for sure. By all means, scoop out a mugful for yourself.
We'll take a little sip. How does it taste?
It is the cleanest water you've ever come across in your life. Cleaner than anything on Veronius' fleet where they recycle the water. Cleaner than water of Caribbean. Cleaner, well, definitely cleaner than any water you ever tasted in Necromunda.
I'm just waiting for more corruption points. You're fishing for those corruption points.
No.
Water so pure it makes you question your faith in the Emperor.
No. Although I did get 3 corruption last game. Good. Well, Rufio will
Actually-
Oh, yes. Give me the
can
corruption.
No, you can remove 3
No!
corruption.
I worked so hard to get this. Okay. I only took the littlest sip.
You
I need
still
to bring the
remove
rest of
3
this back.
corruption. Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
That's all my
gosh.
corruption. How am I gonna go evil now?
I'm just suddenly
I
imagining
accept
like
this
all
fate.
your horns and stuff falling
is-
off, and you're like, you're
You're like, oh no.
That is the
Not a
burden
beast
that you must bear, Rufio, for the Emperor.
So, I haven't mentioned this, but deep down, Rufio's been yearning for the Revelator. He's heard its whispers, but after he drank this water, the whispers have not silenced, but have eased significantly.
See, the
So
water
you're
is
saying that in
fresh. It is
character?
clean. Okay.
Oh, it is. All right, and Rufio will gingerly walk out with the mug and the rest of the water.
Before you
in it.
go, though, there, fellow, and he brings out a small
Yes.
bowl. I simply ask for an offering, something to that we can use to help the people, the pilgrims here.
So the only thing that Rufio has is the a little case with one low stick in it.
Yeah.
So I guess he'll take the low stick out and just toss the case into the bucket.
The guard looks at the case. This is made of a high quality. This is made of a high quality steel. Thank you. This will be used for the people, used for the Emperor's children.
Emperor's children?
Yeah. Joy.
Phrasing.
So, did you want to ask anything else? Those of you who are also gathered there, or waiting to watch watching Rufio drink water.
I'm cool.
Think.
Lady Annette, you got any questions?
Sorry, what was the name of the saint again?
Matrika.
Matrika. That was it. I'll join Rufio and just. So this water is blessed by Saint Matrika. It sounds wonderful. Is there any way of visiting them and speaking to them personally to give our personal thanks? We've traveled far. As true pilgrims we are.
You're saying this to the guard, aren't you? Yeah. The guard listens to you. The saint is... We are protective of her. And we must be careful not to allow anyone... We can't just let anyone have an audience with her. You see, there are troublesome people amongst the people here. There are troublemakers. You may have seen some of them. They wear the red robes. They are known as they call themselves the Deluge. They are nasty folk, and they have harmed some of our church. If I were to suggest, if you were able to show your loyalty to the Waterbringers, that would allow me to bring you before our saint. Maybe rough up a few of the Deluge. Show them who's actually boss. I mean, this fellow here, this tall fellow here, he's your friend of yours?
Yes.
Is he good in a fight?
I'll just turn to Rufio.
Yes.
Then perhaps...
I've been in a couple scuffles here and there.
Then perhaps you're the fellow we've been waiting for. Maybe Matrika's prayers have delivered you to us just when we need you the most.
Perhaps, but it does not seem very saintly to be attacking others.
But when they...
Does not the Emperor preach that we should accept our place in this holy Imperium?
True, but these troublemakers are standing in the way, are threatening the work of this saint. They are in fact working against the Emperor.
What? Are they, dare I say it, heretics?
Maybe not heretics, but they are certainly sheep requiring a shepherd with a heavy hand.
Rufio will reveal his hand, his large, furry hand.
The guard steps back, kind of horrified. But what are you?
I'm a man, just like you, and one who can shepherd others to this true way.
If you do this for us, if you do this for the saint, who am I to judge you? The Emperor has his ways, his gifts. And just because you are different, and yet you are still a man, maybe. You'll find the Deluge at the desalination station. You may find some of them moving amongst the shantytown here. As I said, show them who's boss. Strip them of their habit. Bring it to me. And then we'll talk about giving you an audience with the saint.
I find this acceptable. Lady, how about yourself?
As unsightly as I think violence is, I can see the poetic justice. My good friend Rufio here has been changed by the corrupted waters that he was forced to drink in his home place, and now we have come here with water so pure and a saint who can guide us somewhere pure and clean, just like the waters. I think it is only natural that we
Then
should...
before you go, I suggest you all those of you who have not yet tasted, drunk, quench your thirst with these waters, please take a sip. It is it is all I can offer before you go forth and do the Emperor's work.
Okay, I will take the cup. And can I roll deception to like pretend that I'm sipping the drink?
Sure, go on. And will Catereth?
I mean, Catereth has been keeping her distance, like sort of just sort of staying out of the kind of the light, sort of as vaguely associated. But she'll I don't know how she's trying really hard to not like mess up the investigation at the moment.
Yeah.
She doesn't really care about the monkey that she's with, but she does care about like not messing things up because she has pride in her work. So she will say, perhaps when we have proven ourselves.
Very well. Well, once you have done what you will do, return here and we'll discuss you meeting the Saint. Meanwhile, cut to the others who have made their way out into the shantytown, and you are heading down the hillside towards the desalination station. And yes, is there anything else you're going to be doing as you move through the shantytown, this smelly, muddy, makeshift town that has grown up around the village?
I have seen where they were coming from with the crates, or a rough kind of area of the town.
No, they seem to be coming from various directions with the crates.
So there's no pattern to that?
No.
Okay.
I know what I can do when I get there, but we've got to get there first.
Is there a location that they cross that is common or well-traveled for the crates themselves?
I would say you would notice that there at least is a gathering of some members of the Deluge, because you know what you're looking for now, at what is clearly a what amounts to be like a bar.
Okay.
There's the smell of food inside. There is the smell of some fresh kind of, something is being cooked.
Okay. Another question. Am I wearing my uniform, or were we given actual, like, clothing to blend in?
Oh, you've got rags and stuff, so you could easily have that over your commissar jacket and everything else, and left your cap back at the village, because, that's a bit difficult to hide.
I've rubbed mud on my shiny eyes so they don't glow as much.
All right. Let's go to the pub area.
Yeah. Okay, you head over to a large tent, tent and various other bits of rubbish that have been used to create this makeshift kind of inn, tavern, what have you. And outside there are some people gathered chatting. They're drinking something that is it stinks. It's some sort of alcohol, likely made from the fermentation of something, mostly fish. Somehow they fermented something and turned it into a foamy cod liver alcohol. Yeah, there we go. It's a cod liver alcohol. Yes. And the members of the Deluge that you see stood outside carry what look like bill hooks, but they're not just ordinary bill hooks. At the end of their staffs are actually chainswords. So it's reminiscent to you of the weaponry used by the custodians on holy terror.
A what?
The Custodes.
Yeah. That's kind of slightly terrifying.
So yeah, they've got bill hooks that end instead with chainswords, and they're clearly, the Deluge clearly also carry weaponry. You can see one of them has on their belt a simple hand cannon. It is clearly bodged together from reclaimed materials and repaired weaponry. But yeah, they're armed. But you know, you go in past them if you want to go past them into the tent, and within there, it's the smell of fish oil is predominant because they use it also as lighting. There are warm barrels of this brewed cod liver based fermented alcohol, and there are also people there of the shantytown who, if they seemingly have enough money or influence or by some means, are dining on what look like pieces of steak or some form of meat. And of course, people are playing card games.
How are the people reacting to the deluge?
They try and stay clear of them. They're fearful of them.
They look fearful of them, or are they just kind of staying away from them?
No, they keep an eye on them. They're wary of the deluge.
Is there like a mess area or like a kitchen area?
No, there isn't really. There's a curtained off area where they must be preparing foods and meats, and then any meat that's brought forward is cooked on an open kind of griddle in front of everyone.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to order the cod liver alcohol.
Nice.
Bravely.
And I'm going to try to fake my way into drinking it. I make it look like I'm consuming it. But if that doesn't work, I will definitely just down the whole thing so I look like I'm getting really wasted.
I'm just looking up what type, whether there is actually some sort of fishy kind of alcohol made somewhere on our world, because I want to know in future, just so I can say what's it taste of. But yeah, anyway, yeah, you need to make a deception test of some
Alright.
appropriate form. Likely, let's say it'll be. I'm trying to think. Would it be cunning? Maybe. No, it'll be deception. There you go.
Yeah. Here's the deception. Okay.
Well done, Carissa, enjoying her beverage. I've turned off all my olfactory sensors, so I'm not smelling any of this stuff.
All right. So I have 3 regular icons, an exalted icon, and a 1 on my wrath die.
Yes.
This is my world.
I am going to get actually drunk.
Smell of fish for a week.
Yup.
Yeah, you
It's
drink.
going to be like dandelion wine.
You drink it. You try and not drink too much of it, but you drink it, and clearly your stomach is not made of iron, and you promptly, realizing you're about to retch, run straight outside and heave up onto the boots of one of the deluge.
I was going to say, could I actually try to run towards where they're curtained off in the back?
No, either way, you're gonna bump into a member of the deluge and puke on his boots. His or her boots, their boots. You know, they're all fairly mean looking,
Oh yeah, they don't scare
horrible people covered in grime and sweat and from working in the station.
They won't notice a little bit more of dirt on them at all then.
Well,
No, yeah,
no,
they
they will
won't
with
notice
puke.
about it.
Fine.
It's right down there. You puke right down the front of their tabard, basically.
Awesome.
They look you dead in the eye. How dare you! You swine! You swill! And they're gonna go and punch you.
All right.
Well, this is so their weapons. So you say they've got these big, like chainsaw weapons. How big and metallic are they?
They're quite large, but they're on like wooden. They're on wooden staffs.
Are they wearing any really kind of metallic armor?
No,
Damn
not
it!
that you can tell.
Can I just? Well, I suppose I could do, but I'll let it punch Danica first because I'm being
Yeah,
slow.
Danica. Unfortunately, you're not going to get a. I'm also not allowing you to have a. Your defense is basically because you're shocked because you're retching, puking. So you're going to get this punch straight to the face. What's the roll? It's going to be a default 6 dice.
The opposite of what you want. If you're sick, you want someone to hold your hair back, not punch you in the face.
Okay, so there's no shifting of damage dice there, and it's strength 4. What's your resilience plus your armor?
My resilience plus my armor, I have a resilience of 4, and my armor, because I'm wearing my coat underneath all of this, is I have 3.
So it's 7 in total then. Good. Okay. Yeah. They punch you, but clearly it doesn't harm you. But they knock you onto your ass, and obviously the inside this tent is still just muddy on the ground as well, and so you're just your ass is just and back is covered in mud, and they're just looking down, looking rather pissed off. You're gonna pay for this. Do you know how much work it is to clean this? It's not like we've got water everywhere here. They go to reach the nearest thing, which is mostly like a tankard or a chair ready to clatter it round your head.
Yep.
What do you want to do? Or what does ID Fortran want to do?
I'm going to walk up to the one who has just punched Danica and go, "You clean yourself?" While scanning around for a metal item behind him that I want to draw to myself, smacking him in the back of the head with a metal object.
Okay, go on then.
So it is the right of magnetics. I can pick up and carry metal objects 7 meters without touching them. No test is required.
Okay.
So if there's some kind of heavy object, I just want it to slam it. What do you want me to roll for that then?
No, it's okay. I'll just do something that fits the character of it.
I just kind of maybe I've walked out with my hand saying, "You clean that," as kind of it's kind of the right.
Coming from the direction of the kitchen comes tumbling through the air a very large metal ladle, and it just clouts the person in the back of the head. They stumble forward. It doesn't really hurt them, but they're really pissed. They just look around for the nearest person, and it's like, "Emperor's teeth!" And they just launch forward, and at which point, the entire bar erupts in a fight.
Yes, bar fight.
All right. So I'm on the ground, right?
Yeah.
As he lurches forward, I want to kick up into his stomach.
Okay. Sure. Roll to attack then.
Yep. Would that be athletics, or
No,
would that be
just use your weapon skill.
weapon skill? Oh, good. That one's higher. Okay, so I have one regular icon and an exalted icon on my wrath die.
Okay, so that gets you a point of glory into the glory pool because it's a combat roll. And
I'm
Yes.
gonna actually use one of my wrath points to reroll my failures because I want to make an example of him.
Okay.
I only add one more exalted icon, so I have two icons and the exalted icon.
Okay, yeah, but you've hit.
Okay.
And again, strength wise, you're not going to be. I don't think you're going to be doing enough damage to them because they're wearing flak armor under their uniform, under their habit. But you knock them over again, flat onto their face. They've got a face full of mud, or they fall into a table. Again, more people get annoyed. Chairs are picked up, crashed around people's heads or on their backs, and it's a complete mess. At which point, the rest of you who are walking through the shantytown towards the desalination station hear this almighty ruckus going on, and you're watching people moving towards it, and you can see this tent and people being thrown out of it, and the tent is now slightly swaying, the fight is just spilling out of this bar.
All right. So he's
Shall
in the.
A turn. Logic dictates we leave.
Yep.
And walk out through the kitchen.
I'm just gonna stand up. I'm gonna actually step on him as I walk out.
Excellent. Yeah, you step on their back and you exit as best as you can, sneaking through the bar and get outside of the tent, where outside are other members of the Deluge and other people trying to make sense of what's going on in there and who started a fight or whatever. At which point you're reacquainted with everyone else who from a distance you can spot as they're illuminated by the oily lamps in the shantytown.
Well, that looks like you were having fun.
I had to put someone in their place.
With a ladle.
I understand.
Subtly done, clearly.
I mean, we're leaving, so it's not like they're not going to be able to stop us. That's fine. Where are you guys going?
Seems like a good opportunity to acquire what we need.
Yes, and then we might as well very quickly catch you up on our investigation into the shrine.
Yeah, but I mean, one point Rufio's going to make is that, like, we don't have to beat up these dudes, although it seems like you've already had some pretty bad interactions with them.
Oh yeah, no, let's just keep walking. We don't have to continue this fight.
Okay.
I mean, it provides a useful cover for us obtaining one of their uniforms.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
No one's going to be able to trace why it disappeared or who knocked the person out.
How devious, Xenos.
I suppose somebody around here has to think on their feet.
Warning, one uniform might smell. Danica had an incident.
I always see laughter.
Oh, apparently they make alcohol of cod liver, so yeah.
Ooh, that's a delicacy.
I'm sure it is. So I know of at least one of them is down in the mud and inside. If you want to go drag him out.
Rufio will go in, find him, and drag him out.
Right, Rufio. You need to make a.
It wasn't. No, it's fine. He's unconscious. He'll be. You can go in there. He'll be fine.
Rufio
Cadereth is gonna try and help with this whole thing so it doesn't get worse.
It's basically you just need to make a. Let's just say you need to make a stealth roll to get in there without drawing too much attention in the fight, and in doing so you'll be able to rip off the habit off one of the Deluge.
4 icons.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Walking into the middle of a bar fight and stripping someone naked.
While
They're not
being a
gonna be
7-foot tall
naked, it's
beast
just-
man. Very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you quite happily rip their uniform, as it were, off them and stroll back out, mostly lamping someone in the face as you go,
Yeah.
and taking their drink, which you have no problem drinking. You can drink some fish oil based alcohol, and it doesn't really affect you. You've had worse.
Tastes great. Rufio throws the tabard at Catarath and says, "This is what I call thinking on my hooves."
He catches it like within that way where people catch things when they're very fast, and
It if it's the person who took it off, it also smells of vomit right now as well.
I mean she's disgusted, but she's disgusted by literally everything here. So what's new?
Yeah.
She just doesn't really say anything. She's just rolls her eyes.
Before we take off in this area, while you guys are inside obtaining that, ID Fortran, can you go around the back and see if you can peek into that covered area real quick and see if you can see anything?
Yeah.
ID Fortran will need to make a stealth roll.
Are you stealthy or am I stealthier?
I've got agility, but no stealth.
I'll be Danico's stealthier.
I'm good at investigating things.
Okay, so I'm stealthier, so I'll go and look.
Yep.
I'm not very good, but I yeah, okay. Oh, I got 2 icons.
Yeah, I mean, with the fight going on, you're able to sneak round the other side of the tent, and you pull out your knife, your normal, your regular kit knife, and slice up the tent, sneaking into where they prepare the food or have pots of stew boiling, and yeah, there's large hunks of some sort of meat there that they're butchering up.
Are there people back there right now, or are they?
Not right now.
volunteer-
They're trying to calm the fight outside, out in
All
the
right,
main bar.
I'm gonna try and grab a piece of the meat.
Okay.
And are there any of those crates that we saw?
Yes, there are crates there.
Okay, are they very similar to the ones that have been carried around?
Yes.
Can I open one to see what was in it?
Yeah, you have enough time to open one up.
All right, I'll do that.
Inside is, again, just lots of butchered meat, prepared meat, ready to be further cut up into steaks or T-bones or whatever else they're eating.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take my piece of meat and I will make an exit.
Okay. Right. So what's the plan? Are you going to go off somewhere quiet and analyse the meat?
And the water.
And the water. Still got my mug.
Yep.
Okay, we'll assume you find somewhere quiet, away from the fighting, behind some crates, behind, the remnants of someone's drop ship, which now is a rusting pile of scrap. And you can pull out the auspex and start, analysing the material you have.
You want me to do a tech or an investigate? Well, it doesn't really matter; they're the same value. So,
Yeah, I think this falls more into tech.
yeah, I will stick a finger and
Does the auspex will give you a bonus? No, I think the auspex is what allows you to do this in the first place. So it's tech to use the auspex to get the information. So just roll tech.
It says detect energy emissions, motion, and other life forms within. So it's kind of like your life scanner. In
Yeah,
Alien.
okay, yeah, but you've got something a little bit more souped up.
I'll hack it to do stuff.
Your Federation tricorder app.
Yes. So, yeah,
Uh-oh.
I got 5 icons, but I got a 1 again.
It's like there's a 1 in 6 chance of that happening.
Okay,
And I've twice in 4 rolls.
Okay, let me think what the complication is.
I assume you do not have livestock on planets like this for the meat.
I have not seen any, which is why I'm
Will be
curious.
Okay.
Typically not. I mean, just there's some of the standard meats like house cats and dogs. You probably don't know what those are.
I don't
being
know.
a Xenos, but
No, I don't, and I have no desire to.
So ID Fortran, from your cogitator, which has its little spool of vellum to print out on, you get a full reading of what the water is and of the meat. At which point, once it's finished that, you look at the ore specs, and again, you're just like, too much damp got into it, and it's not working.
I'm going to give up using these things and snap it. It's a really obscure kind of weird raise that I don't usually have because machines don't get angry.
The first piece of paper printed out is about the water. It says 100% H2O. And that's weird. It's 100% H2O. It is pure water.
So no minerals or anything else in there?
No.
Oof, yeah.
Trace amounts.
I think my stomach's feeling a little queasy from all this pure water.
Even
Distilled
biology,
water.
Yeah.
you cannot get this pure. This is not of mechanics.
The other printout about the meat gives you its protein content. It's clearly meat. It's clearly from an animal. And then it finally gives you a printout of what it thinks, which animal it's from. Homo sapien. It's people.
That's very common, though.
Corpse.
Oh, sorry, you didn't eat any of that when you were in there.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I mean, you lost your lunch anyway, so it wouldn't have been that bad.
It was with alcohol.
And there I was thinking that the rumours that you eat your own kind were exaggerated.
Well, no, not really. So, you see this little pouch right here? This is what we call corpse starch. It's really a standard meal that we have.
Please stop there. Nuisance.
The flesh is weak. Why not use it for sustenance?
Clearly your machines are weak too. I see that you broke one.
At which point, we're going to leave it at that cliffhanger on the realization that there is different levels of eating people, it seems, which is considered acceptable amongst
Oh, you draw a line at this.
ages.
Gee.
I love how the pure water is the thing that's freaking
Yeah,
us
that's
out.
what's freaking you out.
People is fine.
Everyone else is like, this is pure water. What's with that? The Xenos is like, you're eating people. What is wrong with you?
Also, you're complaining because your water is too pure?
That's
What's wrong with
literally-
you?
That's like the
Right.
most perfect encapsulation of the grim darkness of 40k. It's like we're freaked out by pure water, but eating people is fine.
Yeah.
Well,
With-
I mean,
Yeah, with that, I will thank everyone again for participating, and we will be back next episode to continue this. I hope we'll mostly resolve this. Maybe, no, it depends how much we get through in next episode. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot. I've padded this scenario out. Obviously, if you want to play through the original version of this scenario, you can download that for free from Cubicle 7 or from DriveThruRPG. It's a very cut-down version of the rules. There are some pre-generated characters. I think you get to play as a Tech Priest, a Sister of Battle, a Rogue Trader, and I can't remember what the other character is in there, but there's another character. So that's kind of cool. Space Marine Scout, that's the other one that you get to play in it. So it's a very different party composition compared to what we've got. Obviously, if you want to find out more, you can listen to our podcast. Go to www.darker-days.org. You can find our Darkhammer episodes, which are specifically for the Warhammer RPGs, or you can listen to all our other episodes, which are more general about horror RPGs as well, like World of Darkness, Chronicles of Darkness, and more. And obviously, if you want more content, more streamed content, obviously you can go to the YouTube and also the rest of the videos on Twitch, where you can catch up with our stuff or watch all of Gehenna Gaming's wonderful content there. They also have a podcast. And we have a Twitch. No, we don't have Twitch. Well, we do sometimes, but no, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram at Darker Days Radio, both of those, and a Facebook group and a Discord where you can chat to us more about this and other things. And I think that's pretty much it as we close out the show. Is that everything? Yes. We'll leave it at that, and we'll be back in 2 weeks' time to resolve whether water is bad or eating people is bad. I don't know. And with that, thank you for watching, and thank you again, everyone, and we'll say goodbye.
Bye.